So this is the legislation that Rishi Sunak hopes will enable planes to go to Rwanda containing migrants. This is also the legislation that will determine Rishi Sunak's future. It's highly controversial. Let's look at the detail. First big principle of this bill, it declares Rwanda safe. You might remember the Supreme Court just a few weeks ago saying Rwanda was not a safe country for migrants. Well, here we have a piece of legislation that simply says that it is. It says in the bill, every decision maker must conclusively treat the Republic of Rwanda as a safe country. This legislation says a court or tribunal must not consider a review or appeal brought on the grounds that the Republic of Rwanda is not a safe country. Do judges agree?
The UK courts will do what parliamentary legislation tells them to do, whether they like it or not. This is a very extreme bill. It's completely unprecedented. It essentially requires the courts not only to assume that Rwanda is safe, whether it is or not, it must also assume that Rwanda will honour its undertakings under the treaty.
Any attempt to stop international law from applying is going to upset potentially some in the centre of the Conservative Party. So what have they done? A court or tribunal must not consider any claim or complaint that the Republic of Rwanda will or may remove or send a person to another state in contravention of any of its international obligations. This tells British courts to ignore international law. And it's quite specific about it. Look at this. They are called notwithstanding clauses, and it says that you must ignore the Human Rights Act and any interpretation of international law by the court or tribunal. That actually is a reference to the European Convention of Human Rights, and I think that is one of the most controversial things. Let's look at another problem, which is an apparent loophole for individuals. What do we mean? Well, it's this section. Of course, this legislation is designed to stop people appealing against attempts to send them to Rwanda. But look at this. It does not prevent a court or tribunal considering a review brought on the grounds that the Republic of Rwanda is not a safe country for the person in question if it relates specifically to a person's individual circumstances. So if there are very specific circumstances, they can appeal according to this. Now, the government says this will apply in a very small number of circumstances, but those on the right of the Tory party worry that this is a backdoor Trojan horse that could allow lots of appeals. They're not happy with this. If Rishi Sunak's legislation does not go through, it is not clear what happens to his government.